I will admit that when I sit in the audience not knowing if I'm going to go, I'm like, I don't want to go after that one. I don't want that one, that was a good one. When you, in the movies, where we get all of our life information, or TV, right? There's always this moment where somebody needs to be saved, right? And then somebody reaches their hand out and they save them. And even, I was trying to think of some good examples today, and then I have little twin girls, and I'm like, well, there was that time in Frozen, and then in Inside Out, when the blue girl was sad. Anyway, the whole point of the matter is, usually when you're trying to save someone, it's clear. They need your help, and you are offering their help. Now, weirdly, in one of the more dramatic moments of my life, which was, I wrote it down, November of 1991, November 18th, actually, in case you're wondering, I tried to save someone's life, and it was an evening filled with so much doubt, it was silly. So I'm walking home from the train, it's about 8:15, and I'm really excited because there's a TV show called Murphy Brown, and thank you. And they're gonna find out if she's having her boy or girl. It was in the 3rd season and she was pregnant. And I was a very predictable bookworm kind of person. I did not set my VCR because I knew that I was going to come home, pick up the rotisserie chicken, and watch my TV show. And as I'm walking home, I see this little short, bald guy, cute guy. And he was really old. He was like probably 40. And these two thuggy African-American hoodlum people. And as a Southerner, I was like, oh, I don't think they're friends of his. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, you're in New York, you gotta shut up. They're probably good friends. And then the next thing I know, he's on the ground and they're running past me. And like a good New Yorker, I did not make eye contact. So I went up to the guy and I said, are you okay? And he goes, I'm fine. And I looked at his pupils, because when you watch ER, they always tell you if the pupils are fixed and dilated, and his were not fixed and dilated, but I didn't want to scare him, so I said, you look a little pale, you know, I live across the street, why don't you come over and I could make you some tea and push the VCR record button, because I need to get home in time. He goes, listen, you're not from here, I'm a New Yorker, I don't do tea with weird people, and he stands up and he walks away from me, and I'm like, I don't know, he got that one pupil, and that's just not good. And he walks across the street, and I follow him a little bit, because I'm just thinking it's weird if I walk away from him, and then he dies. That would be bad etiquette. And so he falls again, right in front of my apartment building. And so I went up to him again, and I said, how you doing? And he goes, I'm fine. I said, I really think we should maybe call an ambulance. There's this little spot of blood about the size of a quarter on his shirt. And I said, no, I just for fun. And he goes, you're not from here. Listen, New Yorkers, we take taxis. Oh, well, I could get you one. You could come in and we'll find a taxi and I'll put you in one. He goes, I'm fine. And he stands up and he falls down again. And so I said, I think I'm right here. And why don't we get you into my apartment building? And he's pissed. He's like, rah. And I get him in there and he sits down and he's white as it goes. And we call 911. And he loses consciousness really quickly. And so the woman says on the phone to me, you need to take his clothes off. I'm not that kind of girl. Murphy Brown is starting in about 18 minutes. I'll take his shirt off if that makes you happy, but I stop at the pants. I will not take his pants off. She says, just take his shirt off. So I take his shirt off, and she says, now, what do you see? And I go, organs. Because what they had done is they had knifed him from his hip bone up to his clavicle. I know! 12 minutes till Murphy Brown, I got a guy with organs. So she says, what I need you to do is I need you to apply pressure. And I said, what? And she said, apply pressure to the wounds. And I go, I think it's his colon coming out of his, so she goes, well, just put a bunch of paper towels in there. See, you know how when you wash a window and the paper towel leaves schmutz? I really am not comfortable leaving schmutz. She goes, just put the paper towels in. So we basically take a whole roll of paper towels. And I'm up like into my wrists with him, I know. And this was the man who didn't want to be saved in the first place. And so here's the weird kicker. There was a person helping me, and again, this is within the day of the corded phone, and I said, we gotta call his wife, because the ambulance was coming, and they said, quote, we'll try to be there in less than 45 minutes. And I'm like, would it be rude of me to ask someone to go up to my apartment and push the record button? Because that's all I wanted out of my life. So I call his wife, and I go, hi, and I wasn't sure if it was his wife, like what if he was having an affair, what if he was coming home from the mistress, you worry. So I said, do you know a guy named Bob Creshy? And she goes, oh, what is he up to? He has been injured, and I have called the ambulance. And, they don't know it just would be easier if you came here. And she said, he's such a joker. Tell him he's late for dinner. And she hung up. So I'm there with all the schmutzy paper towels in this man's situation, abdomen, and I called her back, and she said, I'm sick of these jokes. Honestly, she hung up again. So I called her back a third time, and I said, listen, I'm really glad that you guys are married, because he did not think that he had been stabbed. You think that he has not been stabbed, but let me tell you, the man has been stabbed. You need to come here. So she comes running in. The ambulance comes, and they take him away. And I missed Murphy Brown entirely, which I was a little pissed off about. So the happy PS is, it was one of those things happened for a reason. The best thing that happened to him, aside from me, is that I'm going to take some credit. Is that when they sliced him, they actually sliced into his heart, which was why there was no blood. Right? Because when I took his shirt off, there was just this one little spot of blood. He wasn't bleeding at all. And if they hadn't cut his heart, he would have bled out profusely right there in the lobby of my apartment, my rent-controlled apartment that I was not going to give up. And so, it all worked out very well. The funny thing is, he was unconscious the majority of the time. And when he came out of the 12-hour surgery, they repaired everything and then sewed his heart back up. The first thing he said was, did Tracy get home in time to see Murphy Brown? Storyteller is Patty Kinney.